Hey, yo. Hey, Randy Savage. Mira. Look at me, man. I know limping. Hey, Savage. Where's your gold, man? You lost your machismo, chico. And now, you want to step into the ring with Razor Ramon, El Jefe? You not just lose your belt, man. You lost your mind, chico.
Mic check. 1, 2. Welcome to the Blue Dreamer broadcast. This is the next episode of Blue Speak. I'm your host, Dr. I. Today, I've got on Shawn The Butcher from Sirius XM Radio. Repping that liquid metal flavor today. How you doing, bud?
Very good. Thank you for having me, Dr. I.
Excellent. This should be a very cool, interesting conversation we have right here. So let me start with this. Obviously, I'm a fan, and I got on to liquid metal probably early pandemic, because that was, when shit started shutting down and, they started cutting hours at work and stuff and all that stuff. And I just really got into more like podcasting and more of, obviously liquid metal. And I was just kind of like digging for new music and whatever was out there. And I think you and Jose just fucking put out the best bands. That's how I learned about a lot of, especially what's going on out there right now. I just talked to Andrew Herman of Johnny Booth.
Respect.
They're fucking so sick. Moontooth. I talked to Nick. I talked to John.
Long Island, New York boys. They're like 10 minutes from me right now.
And I keep asking them. I've asked all of them, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on out there, dude? So maybe you could shed some light on that. What the fuck has it always been like that? Or, because I asked Nick first, and he was like, I was like, dude, like, okay, all these bands, Cryptodira, I love Cryptodira, Lost Becomes, and you know what I mean? Like,
hey, Lost Becomes, shout out Chef Brian, shout out Composy, shout out Doc Gomez, all my buddies in Lost Becomes.
I'm telling you. And then, with what Ray does, like, Moontooth came out in October, and I'd already been a fan for, like I said, about 4 or 5 years, and I was talking to Ray, and I was like, bro, your production is so fucking sick. And he was like, me and Tony. And I'm like, damn. And then, even Andrew was just like, yeah, dude. And so I love all of the community, the family. Like, it seems like such a cool fucking scene and such great music, And so what's your take on all that? What do you think?
Where are you like located right now?
I'm in San Diego, California, dude. I'm in SoCal.
So the scene's like there's a lot going on out there, I would imagine.
No,
right?
No.
Nah, there's not.
Ever since I've been going to shows since I was like 14 years old. 30 years, bro.
Yeah.
I'm 44 now. And there's never been solid scenes. Not like that. Not like,
okay.
When people use the word scene, usually it stems from the hardcore scenes, but it's always East Coast shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's the origin.
That's because that's what I came up with. My first show ever was in '99, and it was at a hardcore show. It was for this band, E-Town Concrete.
Fuck yeah, I know that.
And like there was like hoods there. Yeah. There was some crazy shit going on. I was never involved in any of it. However, like there was a lot of stuff going on, which was crazy to see, because there was this element of danger in it. I'm like, I'm in a place I shouldn't be right now with people I shouldn't be with. And plus everyone's like moshing and beating the shit out of each other. Right. So that kind of put that's what started me with this, going to shows and doing all of this. But I moved out to Long Island in early 2000s, basically right after I went to my first concert when I was in Queens, and then I moved out to Long Island.
And how old are you at that time?
18.
Okay.
I think 18.
So
Yeah.
fresh.
Yeah. Right after basically came here and graduated high school. But um the community there was always something going on. There was always shows. I had friends in punk bands. Everybody was playing music. There was a lot of Mr. Beery's. You'd be going to Mr. Beery's like every Friday or Saturday, and there was some band playing some show. And this isn't a venue. This is not a venue. It's a bar.
Okay.
So it's just like it's raw as it gets, and those are my favorite concerts. No barricade, no nothing.
Yeah.
So there was always something going on, but I was kind of mostly involved with just my buddies who were in bands.
Yeah.
Lately, through Liquid Metal and through doing interviews and meeting band managers and meeting show promoters and meeting people who route the tours, and I'm interviewing pretty much all the bands that they're doing that stuff with. And then I find out, oh, this guy's from Long Island and this guy's from Long Island and this guy's from Long Island. And I'm like, I was going to shows forever, but I never like found them or met them or gravitate. I don't know what happened, but now I met one dude who knew another dude who knew another. And now you go to a show and it's like a family reunion. We just did these last Hatebreed shows here in Amityville, Long Island. And every night it was like just family. It was just familiar faces and everyone happy. Long Island has always been super, like the grind is real, like the music is real. The bands are out here. And I mean, most importantly, like people want to see it. We got VFW halls. The Massapequa VFW is the new poppin' spot right now because the main venue right now is closed, Amityville Music Hall, because they're under renovations.
Yeah. And St. Vitus is going through some shit too, right?
St. Vitus is going through. So like it's really hard for these shows to happen. It's getting even harder. Yeah.
Kind of back to the roots, you know, because I used to play boys and girls club shows and fucking backyards and all that. Like, but that's kind of good
that's what
too.
I prefer.
That's what I prefer. I think it's better that way, you know, especially for big bands. Maybe it gives them a little fucking kick in the ass to kind of like, oh shit, like back to the roots.
And
you know,
moving out to Long Island from Queens, I was like, I love Queens. I can't believe I'm going to be in Long Island in the suburbs and blah. But then you come out here and you see everything that's going on and you see everybody's like this big, like crazy family and they're into this same music that you are. And I love it out here. I couldn't see myself going anywhere else.
Nice.
I want to be part of what is going on. And I love being able to have the outlet that I do to interview these bands, and it's always at shows in Long Island. So it's like it's always
a hub.
I'm
telling you, the East Coast is the hub, though. You know, like even with hip hop and shit. You know what I mean? Because I'm an old school hip hop head. You know, my brother turned me on to that shit when I was young, dude, and like way before West Coast rap. I heard all East Coast shit, you know, and I was just like, but it's still the same. It hasn't changed. None of it's changed. All the hardcore shit, everything. You know what I mean?
From Wu Tang to G Unit to Griselda, all my favorite Dipset, all my favorites were East Coast.
Yeah, you know, and so it can't be denied, you know, and I understand, you know, paying attention to all that shit early on, like. I get why East Coast heads would talk shit about West Coast people because it's like, oh, that's all like the like even the breakdancing. I remember all the old school clubs where, you know what I mean? Like I was a kid, but I saw it through my brother. Like my brother's friends would come over and break dance in the garage and shit with the cardboard and shit. So I grew up with that stuff. It was an influence for me, you know? But throughout the years, but it never stops coming. The main, you know, funnel is the fucking East Coast, and then it just spreads to the rest, you know. And maybe that's blasphemous, but I don't give a fuck. It's true, you know, and that's.
I always felt very fortunate that I was born and raised in New York, and I could have been born anywhere in the entire world. That I was born in New York, and I feel like if anything happens, it happens here. Like. No matter what's going on, like New York's the place to be, and I'm close to the city, and I'm close to Brooklyn, close enough. Now that I'm out in the burbs, but I always love that. Like, I've had so many amazing experiences because I'm in New York. I'm not in the middle of nowhere around nothing and no venues and no scene and no bands. And like, I was very fortunate, and I'll never forget that ever.
So you told me you played bass at some point. So was that the introduction of music to you, or you just hung out with homies and you were just, was it all the same shit? Green Day?
Green Day started everything. Sixth grade, Green Day, Dookie. Yep. I liked music before, but when Green Day came out, I wanted to start a band.
Nice.
So we had it locked in. My buddy was getting this, my other buddy was getting drums, and my other buddy was getting whatever.
Yeah.
And everyone walked out and everyone got an electric guitar. And I'm like, you can't have a band with all electric guitars. So, and we all lived in small apartments in Queens, so no one could get a goddamn drum set.
Right.
So I was like, I'll get a bass and I will play bass. So I started off playing bass and getting bass lessons. But it took forever for me to actually start a band.
Okay.
And we never played any shows and we never recorded anything. Like, it was so long to start, so many practices, and then I got kicked out of the band before anything even happened, because it was also the start of my first relationship and I didn't know how to balance girlfriend band. But the whole band fell apart anyway, so I had the last laugh anyhow. But I still talk to a bunch of those dudes and they're all cool guys. But yeah, I played bass forever, and now, I mean, I got it right here, my 5-string Ibanez. It's like my baby. But I have not touched it. It is just it's like a toy. It's just something I have here in my room.
It's a memory. It's
I can
memorabilia.
remember, from the times. But my buddy's doing like an anniversary for his band that hasn't played in forever.
Okay.
And he's like, "We want to pick up your bass and start practicing with us?" And I'm like, there's no, unless every song is just open E, and I could just open E my way through the. Yes, I can follow a rhythm, but like once I have to start moving this hand, we are in trouble.
Yeah, everything's just open. That's it. You just sludge it out.
And that's what I like. Stupid riffs. I just like dumb, stupid, slow riffs.
Fuck yeah. So, okay. So, music fan, obviously, because you're trying to be in a band and shit. I want to get through the evolution of where you're at now, but did you DJ at all? Did you DJ any clubs, any shit like that? You spin records?
No,
nothing like that.
No.
Okay.
I did the band thing, and then I was working, I worked every odd job on the planet. And I was working at Stop and Shop for a while in the meat department, which is where the Butcher nickname came from. Yeah, I was gonna apprentice to be a butcher, and it was the same time I started interning at Sirius.
Okay,
it was
so that you just went
when I was there
straight in.
So I was like, yeah, because I saw the dudes cutting meat every day, and then I saw the guys doing radio every day, and I'm like, well, I know which job is more fun. So I worked towards that, but I didn't go to school for radio. I went to school because I was trying to start a band and be in a band. I went to school to mix records.
Okay.
I was like, if I can't be in a band, then I'll mix other bands' records.
For sure.
I went to like a 9-month crash course, IAR, Institute of Audio Research. Shout outs to them in Manhattan, if they're still even open. But at the end of the term, they would give you internships. So I interned to Def Jam for a little bit.
Fuck yeah.
I saw Jay-Z once, which was fucking nuts. But it was the first internship I ever got. They stuck me in a closet with a stack of CDs and the CD burner tower, and they're like, burn these. And I would sit for 8 hours in a closet and burn CDs.
The fucking 12 a.m. shift or the 3 a.m.
It was a decent shift, but like nobody liked me there, and like there were other interns there, and they hated me, and I'm like, ugh. It was so brutal. The vibe was not right.
Crazy.
And then a buddy of mine said that Sirius XM was looking for interns, so I just applied. They accepted me, and then like I never went to school for radio. I never went to school to be a DJ. Everything sort of progressively happened throughout my time at Sirius XM doing
that's fucking
producing,
sick, dude. That's so dope.
voiceover,
to just start straight
homegrown
in.
talent.
That's
they
dope.
call me.
That's dope. I mean, you definitely got the voice for radio, for sure.
Thank you.
For sure.
I've heard that since the 6th grade,
There you
which is
go.
always, I guess,
That's when
a
your balls.
coincidence.
That's when your balls dropped. You're just like, oh.
Yeah. And I never thought twice about it. I was like, yeah, radio, whatever.
Yeah. So
but
what did
then,
they?
like,
Go ahead.
I went on listening to radio forever. So
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it kind of all fits.
So what all did they show you in that class that you like? What was it? Just did they show you actually
In
how to
audio-
mix and shit and like
Yeah.
okay
Yeah. And
okay.
like show you wavelength and,
Cool.
and show I had to build something with solder, and I had a soldering iron,
Okay.
and I had a whole thing.
Okay.
Please, I still have the notes in the bag just so I know that the money I spent is like still sort of there. But when I actually interned in a studio to like mix a record, I just wasn't feeling it. I'm like, oh no, I hope I didn't just make a mistake with all of my time and money, because I just was not. At least the studio I went to, I wasn't feeling the vibe of it at all. And I'm like, if this is what it's going to be like, this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
So I kind of just clumsily stumbled into one thing after the next until I found something that more so I was told that I was good at. I still don't think I'm good at anything I do.
Well,
but people like I get positive feedback on
it.
So
I mean,
like,
from my perspective, just being a fan, being on the outside looking in, you know, and also being I was a DJ. I actually spun records and I used to carry crates, and because I grew up in hip hop culture. So I wanted, you know, when like I started in a band when I was like 14, 15 years old, and I still got the same homies that we played, but we don't play, and you know, whatever. And so there came a point in one of my bands where I was just like, nobody wanted to play. And I was just like, fuck. So how do I do my own shit? And I got into like beat making because of like DJ Shadow and DJ Newmark and all these and Cut Chemist and all these, you know. And then I got into I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna buy turntables. And like I literally sold my guitar amp to buy turntables and just started buying records. And then I just started mixing, and I was like, it's a natural thing. It's very, you know, and so I would say for you, you know, it's like it's natural, it's inherent, it's in your DNA. You know how to. You're attracted to good shit, good music and good vibes, you know, me too. Like it's just, that's what it is, you know? And that's why now with my show, what I'm doing is I'm doing these interviews, but in between every interview, I'm doing mixes and I'm doing different styles. I'm doing country, I'm doing fucking heavy metal, I'm doing reggae, like everything that I love, but I'm kind of setting some parameters for myself to like, I want everything to be current artists and this certain kind of style. So it gives me that, like, I want to dig for the shit. I want to work for it. I don't want it to just be, oh yeah, make a 70s playlist of Kool and the Gang and Rick James. And I was like, no, I've done that shit, dude. I want to do some crazy shit. Like, for me anyway. I'm my biggest fan, so, you know what I mean? So...
That's awesome.
How do you feel? How do you feel about that? Do you think that's true? Like for you?
Yeah, music has been ingrained in me forever. I was listening to hip hop cassettes in my buddy's brother's room in like probably the 3rd grade.
Okay.
And then like I was listening to hip hop before I was listening to heavy metal.
Yeah.
So I feel like the two are very similar. I feel like the reason I liked metal so much is because it kind of had that same groove that hip hop did. And it was also much, much, much angrier.
Yeah.
And I love when the two genres cross and you get heavy metal and hip hop stuff. That's what E-Town Concrete does. Yeah. But I mean, it always just seems so damn like cool to me. Like music was I always had a Walkman. And when I was a little kid, I always had a Walkman. I always had headphones on. I always used it to just like escape the noise of the outside world. And then like you find people that you have music taste with in common. Then you have your little guilty pleasures and you're like, oh, I like this so much, but I can't let anybody know how much I love this Lady Gaga song or something. But like, so it just, you know, and then from that to watching musicians and being obsessed with Green Day and wanting to start a band and then wanting to like go to school to mix records and then turning into a DJ. Like the fact that I could still do now what I did. I mean, this talking metal and bullshit is what I did since I was like 15 years old. And now I just get to do it with the entire country. And it's like, there's nothing more I love than when people are like, never heard of this band, found this band you talked about, loved the band, saw the band live, bought the shirt, met the singer, took the picture. Like, I'm like, that's
Yeah.
I could not ask for more.
It literally has nothing to do with you in a way. Yet they give you like praise because you're like, you showed it to me. And it's like, hey, bro, I like good shit. You like good shit. Let's like good shit together.
It's like I feel good when I because people are so bitter and people want to hate everything. So when I show them something and they're like, oh, this is good, I'm like, extra point.
Exactly.
Like, I give myself a point for every band that I put people on.
Yeah.
And that makes me.
Yeah. I mean, even Into the Trivia Pit is fucking sick as fuck, dude. Like, and you get all those samples, you put everything together. Is that all you're doing? Like
everything,
exactly.
Every single button.
So that's how I know. That's how I know because, like I said, I've been into beat making. I've been into sampling. So I chop shit up.
That's where it comes from. It comes from that hip hop love, from samples in hip hop. It comes from samples in movies before metal songs. Like there's nothing I love more than samples and listening Fred from the Howard Stern show. Yeah, well, that's what Fred from Howard Stern does. Like he has an entire layout of sound effects and he just plays whatever fits while Howard's talking and produces like that. And I love that shit. And that's what I started doing when I started in radio. They wanted me to do that and I sucked at it. So I made damn sure that now 17 years later, I have improved a hell of a lot more than I did 17 years ago. And that's Into the Trivia Pit is the amalgamation of all that. Like it's something that did not exist. It was nothing. There was no spot there until me and Jose and Vinny like created it. And like I have a poster in my room from 2017 and it was the 100th episode, and to get there that's 50 weeks in a year, so it had to start in 2016. So like it's like 8-9 years of the trivia show. It has not felt like it.
Wow, it's been that long? Fuck, I didn't know it was that long.
I feel like it. Yeah, I think so.
I've only been, like I said, about 4 or 5 years. So, but I didn't know it was even further than that.
Welcome to the family.
But it's so sick. And like I said,
thank you.
Like even my shows like this, I always put an intro in the beginning of some sample of whatever I feel is kind of reverent to the conversation, or, you know, I'm probably going to put some fucking WWF fucking for you, you know, like it's just it's vibes, it's feels, it's like all of it. And that's why when I hear you saying what you're saying, and I'm like, fuck yeah, like we're not too far apart, you know, and that's just real. And like, even when I was talking to Jeff last weekend, Jeff Irwin from fucking Willhaven, and I was like, wow, shit. He's like, yeah, I'm down, dude. Like, cool. I was like, but even just talking to him and just picking his brain, you know, and I you know, I've known about Willhaven since I was 16, 17 years old, you know, so I love them, you know, but then I get all that, like, I was listening to some interviews that he had done, you know, previous to talking to him. And, you know, they always bring up Deftones and Far and all that connection and all that stuff. And I get that, you know, because that's what people are into. And I love Deftones. Deftones are one of my all-time favorite bands forever. But Willhaven is like, right. And that's why I told him, I'm like, it's like a trifecta, dude. You get Deftones, you get Far, and you get fucking Willhaven. He's just like, wow. I was like, bro, that's the truth, man. That's that real. Like, I feel that shit, you know? And he was like, when we were done, he was just like, dude, that was so much fun. I was like, thank you, you know? Like, I love that shit. I love to learn new shit about whatever. And to me, like, metal, that's why I love liquid metal, dude. And like, even to see like Spirit Box blow up. Like, I Wrestled a Bear once when Courtney got in, and that's kind of when I got into them, Courtney and Mike. And then now to see, but you guys help push them, and it's just crazy to see how fucking, but it's like, they're sick as fuck. Of course they're gonna fucking, what are you talking about? They're going with fucking Korn and Gojira, dude. Like, of course. And that's so dope. You know what I mean? I love that shit. And then when I see the interviews on Liquid Metal, I'm just like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude. That's so cool, man. That's so fucking cool, you know?
Just promoting the metal and the metal family and all the stuff coming out. Yeah, I mean, that's like, I love being able to have direct contact with these bands and be like, yo, you're rolling through, want to do a quick interview, pop.
Yeah.
I got a little microphone, we roll through, and we could just like guerrilla style,
Yeah.
just like run up and do these interviews and put these specials together and give these bands a launching pad to eventually tour with Korn, like crazy shit. Like it's a beautiful thing. I love it. I love it.
And it makes total sense. It just makes fucking sense. Right now, the way everything is right now, it makes total sense. You know what I mean? They are the next level, you know, like to me, you know, and they're going to get more recognition and more people into metal, you know, like it's just going to happen. It's going to happen. And it's great. It's fucking sick. You know, there's a lot of the crazy thing that trips me out, bro, is like when I start digging into shit, when I find one band and then I find 3 bands and then I find 6 bands, like I'm like, fuck, there's so much music out there. It's great. Like there's so many musicians. Like sometimes I'll just tap into this vein and it just spreads out to all these people. And it's like, fuck, that's kind of crazy. But then how many of them are like good? And you know, I'm no one to judge. I don't know, but I know taste. I know flavor, dude. And like when it hits me, I'm like, that tastes good. And that's it. Like that's all I go by, my gut, you know? So it's crazy. Like that's the crazy part. But there's so much good music out there. You know, that's the crazy part too. What do you think about that?
I mean, that's what makes my job hard is that I have literally 1 million emails from 1 million bands who are all like, okay, we finished our song. Here it is. Play it on Liquid Metal. And it's like,
nah. So how does that process happen?
It's a number of processes,
sure.
but the main process is like there's only so much room,
right?
Because the goal is familiarity,
right?
Like keep people listening,
sure.
By playing what they know and mixing in other things in between to educate and expand and grow and keep it, you know, keep what's classic current still.
Sure.
But you know, it all depends on the feel. Like everybody wants the 24-hour black metal channel,
right?
And it's not gonna happen,
right?
Not on Sirius XM. It's
exactly.
Not. So it's gotta have a feel.
Yeah.
It's gotta feel like Liquid Metal.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I'm out here in the streets in Long Island, and I'm seeing bands and I'm watching bands and I'm like, this is the shit.
Yeah.
And I've been working with Jose long enough to where he's like, yeah, let's go, whatever you. And sometimes I'll do it and like they won't budge. So
do you show Jose a lot of shit and like he's just
I take pride in always like, Jose, check this out.
Yeah.
And like 5 times, 6 times out of 10 he'll be down for all of it.
Yeah.
And it took a while to get there because you know he's getting thrown 3 million emails from 3 million, like whatever my numbers are, his are 10 times higher.
Yeah.
So it's hard to weed through all that stuff, and it's hard to find space for it. And you want to be cool, and you want to like keep everybody like happy, and like, but I love the people who are like, how much do you get paid to play
Jesus.
this? I'll tell you.
You're like, don't worry about it.
Nothing. Because if I was getting paid to play bands, I would be in a fucking mansion right now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's literally nothing but respect.
Yeah.
That's what I give them. I'm like, I respect the shit out of this band. Like, there is none of that shit. Like, it's just all love, being there, being part of the shows, and just being able to literally just help these bands grow by like Johnny Booth, like helping them grow an audience throughout the entire country.
They're next, bro.
Yeah. So just that's all I give a shit about.
For sure.
Yeah.
Me too.
That's
and I get it. I totally get that shit. I totally get that. You know, and it's like, that's why it was cool to talk to Andrew, and like, he was super fucking cool, you know, and I'm literally just reaching out to anyone. I've just been throwing it out as much as possible. But because I care, you know, like because I have that respect. It's like I find something in anyone that I'm reaching out to. And I've had so many people be like, "Oh, why don't you interview this person or do that?" And I'm like, no. Like there still has to be an element of taste, you know, like there has to be. That's what's going to make it work, you know? And so I'm trying, but whatever. And that's why even talking to you, I could tell, you know what I mean? Like the music speaks for us in a way, you know, and I just want to rep it. That's it. That's all I want to do, you know?
I mean, all I do is wear band T-shirts and
Yeah.
horror movie T-shirts, and like I don't give a fuck that I'm a walking billboard for them because it's like it's
Yeah.
what I'm into and it's what I dig,
Yeah.
and like if you dig it, shout out, be like, nice shirt, cool, whatever. If not,
Yeah.
like whatever, I don't give a shit. I don't like your shirt either. I don't love every band on the
Exactly.
planet. I don't.
Yeah.
So like some bands I hold really close to my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna be an asshole to anybody for wearing some shirt for some dingus band that I don't give a crap about.
Exactly.
Like, I'm just stoked everybody's, you know, having fun, having a good time, unless you're looking at Twitter where nobody's having fun and nobody's having a good time, no matter how awesome a show looks.
The shit
People
show.
on the internet who are not at the show are complaining about how crappy the show that they're not at is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, I get stoked when I see somebody because, you know, somebody just wearing some like this. I saw this young dude at work, and I work for Costco, and I've been there like 14 years. But I saw this random dude wearing a Dying Wish shirt, and I was like, "What?" And he was a young cat. I was like, "You like Dying Wish?" He's like, "Oh yeah, they're sick."
What's up.
I was like, "You ever heard of this band? You ever Knock Loose? Yeah, you know." Like I was like. He's like, leave me alone, dude. I'm like, sorry, I can't help it, bro. Fuck, dude. Like, you don't understand
Find a friend.
You don't understand how, like, in the wild that shit is, man. You know, it's like I've been into this shit for so long that when I see that, or even just pull up next to somebody, like, I've had them random, like, dude, what are you listening to? Like, roll your window down. What are you about?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh, this, and it's like, fuck yeah, you know, you give the horns, it's just like, fuck yeah. It's like, oh, dude, that's the best shit, you know, like it really is. That shit makes my soul fucking glow, you know?
I love blasting my music as loud as I can as a red light, even though my speakers are trash.
All windows
like, I don't
down.
Care how I don't care how terrible my speakers are. It sounds like mud, but like, I was just doing it before. I mean, Power Trip Hornet's Nest was just on the radio when I was driving, and I was like,
boom,
all the way up, just all bass. You can't even hear anything. I don't even care. Yeah, there's nothing better than loud metal and loud hip hop are like some of my favorite things.
So I'm gonna hit you with this one. Who's your most favorite band ever?
Ever? I mean, I have to say Metallica. Metallica started it all for me. But I mean, I have problems pinning down favorites because like I you know, also Meshuggah and also Dillinger Escape Plan
and Pantera
and also Pantera and like I have a lot of favorites. That's my problem. But like it all played a part in me like finding this and discovering this and getting interested in it and doing like. But Metallica definitely, like, they're just Master of Puppets will forever be like the holy grail of heavy metal to me because. It's like, I mean, it came out in 86. I was 3 years old. I wasn't even processing it. I didn't even get put on to Master Puppets until late in the game, mid 90s, when I was actually like getting into metal. And Metallica was like the gateway because everyone was like, oh, Cannibal Corpse. And I'm like, I can't handle Cannibal Corpse like right off the bat. Like Cannibal Corpse took years to build to finally realize, oh my God, this is like fucking awesome. So like Metallica was that gateway because James wasn't like barking at you. He had like melody and stuff and like and the songs are just beautiful and Puppets like I just feel Puppets is immaculate.
It's funny because that's the only Metallica vinyl I ever owned. And what I used to do is like when I would intro, like I'd be playing like hip hop and trip hop, like Portishead and shit, but I'd play Orion. I would just throw it because it's instrumental. Like I'm going to go take a piss. Listen to this. You know, like,
that's great. That's so cool.
It's just like, fuck it. You know, like why not? I mean, I don't claim to be the biggest Metallica fan. You know, the first Metallica I heard was the Black Album, and that was like in junior high. And then like right after I saw them do the Freddie Mercury tribute concert, And I saw fucking James go up there with Queen and do fucking Stone Cold Crazy, and I was just like, bruh. And that's when then Enter Sandman came out and all that shit blew up. And what's that song called? I can't even think of it. Jesus, I'm blanking right now. The heaviest song on dun 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 dun.
Sabbath True.
Sabbath True. Jesus. See, if I would have been on Trivia Pit right now, I just would have fucking lost, bro.
Cock a gun to the face.
But yeah, once I heard that shit, I was like, oh, okay. And that's kind of what started melding my mind. Because I started with Nirvana. You say Green Day. I started with Nirvana.
So that was the thing for me. It was Green Day, Nirvana, Offspring, Soundgarden. It was grunge.
Yeah.
Grunge was kind of my gateway to metal because I was listening to grunge and hip hop first. And then Metallica sort of like nudged their way in because I was like, what's a little heavier than grunge?
Right.
And I was like, oh, Metallica's a little heavier than grunge.
Yeah.
And then from there, my buddy was like, oh, you like Metallica? Here's Pantera. Here's Sepultura. Here's Machine Head. Here's Fear Factory. Crazy. And I'm like, oh, and it was just the mid 90s is the golden era for me because it was right when I was finding out about these bands. It's like, oh, they're putting out a new album. Like, awesome, fucking cool. And just everything. It was the floodgates opened because I was a stickler in the beginning. I was like, no, I can't. All this other metal is crap. I only like these 5 bands. Like, all this other stuff is terrible, whatever. Yeah. And then one by one, it was like, oh, Hatebreed. Oh, Vision of Disorder. Oh, hardcore. Oh, cool. What's this? And then, like, then it spread like wildfire. And then, like, it came a point where I would just buy any album and didn't care and would listen to whatever. My tastes have definitely changed now. There's still things that I cannot listen to, but the stuff I listen to now, I would have definitely never listened to when I had started or had imagined I would be listening to when I started listening.
Yeah, when I saw Korn live for the first time, dude, like 96 probably. I think even before I saw Deftones. I saw Korn at this venue here. It's called Soma, and I literally grew up there. That was like every weekend, just mom, drop me off. Let's go. And I'll just stay and I'll find a ride, but
awesome.
That was it. And everybody was coming through. That was that peak time. Like you said, that Korn came in, Deftones, Papa Roach, then I saw Machine Head. I saw fucking, not on Earth, but Earth Crisis. Fucking Life of Agony. I saw fucking, like all these bands but that first time I saw Korn and it was Blind had just come out. My friend showed it to me, my drummer friend. And I was just like, what the fuck is this? And then I got the album. I was like, whoa, okay. Like, and then I saw them and that was fucking crazy. And then Head PE after that, like all that shit that, like you said, that mix of like rap and I hate nu metal. I don't like that term, but they were doing that shit. They were hitting the 808s in there. They were doing these funky beats. I'm like, come on, bro. Like everybody can see this, and then Judgment Night soundtrack came out and all that shit, like all that shit just mixed in. I was like, oh, this shit's so dope, dude. Because I never got into Anthrax. So, and usually when I ask people, like, they're like, Bring the Noise, that was that first kind of hit, But Judgment Night soundtrack, I feel, is just as fucking important. That was a whole album of shit. Like
Onyx and Biohazard, Ice-T and Slayer.
Yeah, dude. That was what like Anthrax birthed. That one, Bring the Noise, and then Judgment Night had like a whole fucking album for you, like the same kind of shit, same style. And then even the Crow soundtrack, the second Crow with fucking Korn and like Kick the PA, all that shit, like
Spawn, the Spawn soundtrack.
Yes. So it was like all that shit, and it was so sick. But I was like, oh yeah, it all makes sense. Of course, like you said, that groove, man, that groove is just undeniable, no matter what. It's in everything that's good. That feels good. I think.
I'll and that's when I know I love a song is like I will feel the song like in my body, like in my chest, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is
you just start bobbing your head.
Or like even that is so stupidly heavy, like that's why I love big, dumb, ignorant like riffs. That's my favorite shit.
Yeah. Riffs are undeniable. Good riffs anyway. So another question. You go to shows a lot, obviously. And so how has the music scene been going? Because I don't get out a lot. I'm a single dad, and so I definitely don't get as much as before. But how are things going now since COVID? Like, because it just seems like the festivals this year are just like finally, like everything's starting to just open up. Like,
I feel like it opened up like a while ago.
Sure.
Like, it has been pretty heavy. Once it did open up, it just started coming in like crazy. It's back to normal 100%. There's no nothing. There's no nobody. Well, I mean,
I feel like this year though is kind of the first like the year. Like I'm even seeing in like Metal Injection and shit. They're just like it's on. Like they're bringing more. Like I don't know. That's just what I'm reading. That's what I'm hearing.
I mean, in Long Island, we felt it for like the last year and a half. I feel like last year was really big with a lot of cool shows going on in Brooklyn and Long Island. I mean, Brooklyn is where everything is at. But yeah, no, I haven't noticed any, like, it's just, the big discourse on Twitter is the people who got into the music during COVID and they're coming to the shows now and they don't understand what's happening.
Yeah, there you go.
So there's a lot of that on Twitter, but I don't see it where I am. Maybe it's happening somewhere else, but like all these things that people are complaining about, like, I don't know. I don't see it. So maybe people are just complaining to complain about things.
Like always.
But yeah, I mean, I go to shows and I'll go to shows by my goddamn self sometimes.
Yeah. And you're in it
just to go and chill. And like, once people start making a thing out of it, it's like, no, just let's keep this fun.
Right.
Yeah, I just go. I mean, even when it was like, like sort of when years ago when they're doing shows, but it's like COVID is still kind of sketchy. Like you just go to the fucking show with a mask, and it's like if it was too fucking crazy, then I'm like, no. I'm too paranoid. I got to get the hell out of here.
Sure.
But like I don't know. Like no, now nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares about anything, and it seems like everything is under control with that shit now.
Sure.
So I'm fine going to a show. I take extra vitamin C. Like I just, everyone's still gross. Everyone still shits and doesn't wash their hands. And like everyone's still shaking hands and sweating all over each other in a small enclosed room. And it's like, if I get sick, I get sick. Like it's not what it was years ago. It's just the what's gonna happen.
I just feel like it's a vibe that's coming out right now for some. I don't know. Like I said, Metal Injection just is like, this is the summer. It's gonna fucking go. You know what I mean? That's what it seems like. I'm like, all right, that's cool.
I hope so. I hope so. I need something. Yeah.
But even this Korn, Gojira spirit, like, cool. Fuck yeah. Good. Go fucking support these people, man. Go crazy, please. You know what I mean?
I agree.
That's what it's for. Even Johnny Booth fucking playing with He's a Legend. Like they're coming out here. I'm gonna fucking go see them. I'm like, oh, you guys are coming to my hood? Fuck yeah, dude. I'll fucking be there, bro. Like, fuck.
Awesome.
Finally,
Hell yeah.
All right, let's get in. So like I said, I told you what I like to do is, when I interview people, I ask them like, give me some songs. Get just 3 songs, one from when you first started getting into music, one kind of in the middle, and then one recent, whatever's kind of influencing you, whatever's just tickling your pickle, like. And so I asked Shawn, and he gave me some. And first song, of course, Sepultura, fucking Roots, and Born Stubborn. Let's go. So I remember when this album came out, and I wasn't a big Sepultura fan ever. My friend, my homie Alec, my drummer friend, was a Sepultura fan. But it's crazy to hear. So I remember when it came out, you know, Roots Bloody Roots just fucking blew up, but it was at the same time of Korn, and so and Max just, it was just a vibe, you know, and like everything that comes after this, you know why, you know, like even Gajir is like, we don't fake the funk, bro, like Sepultura, you know, fuck it, like a band like that, you know, and it just, they created a different vibe, but then it was like the production and everything. It was just, you know, like, I don't know why that song for you.
Well, lately, just because I made a Sepultura mix a couple of weeks ago, and I have just been listening to it nonstop on a loop.
Nice.
And that song keeps popping on. And ever since I was a kid, I love that song. I love that riff. I love Max's delivery.
Yeah.
It is just a powerful, powerful song. I mean, I could have picked any Sepultura song, Beneath the Remains, or Arise, or Chaos AD, or Territory. There's a billion. It doesn't matter. Like Sepultura is. I mean, they're like the third metal band I ever got into. They're like gods to me, especially Max Cavalera, and the fact that he can write an album like Beneath the Remains, then into Arise, then into Chaos AD, then into Roots, and like alternating styles. And do soul, and like he is just filled with like grooves and just. You know, I love everything he's done.
For sure.
And yeah, that song especially, I'm just obsessed with it. I've always have been. It's like a good deep cut. I always like a good deep cut on an album.
Same.
And definitely when I was making mixtapes on like little cassettes and listening to my Walkman, I mean, that one would definitely be on there.
I just remember that era so vividly. And to me, it was such like a transitional time, you know, going from grunge to quote unquote new metal. Like that was peak for me, because I was just like, okay, listening to this band, and then all of a sudden these other bands, and I was like, okay. And like, it's weird, the shift, because it's like, who made this shift happen? You know, in a way, like it's interesting. That's all, you know, and whatever. I don't question it, but it was so cool because everything after that, Cold Chamber and fucking all those bands started coming out, and it's like the same feels. Like I get it, like, you know what I mean, like. It was a crazy time. It was an interesting time, you know. I love that I could see that. I could witness all that shit. It was cool.
A lot of influence and a lot of really good bands came out of that.
But now new bands are fucking coming out doing, like, these young cats are doing that same old shit, but it's not bad. Like, you know, I was playing Chamber earlier, and Chamber and fucking, you know, these other bands, Vein FM, and, you know, these bands that they're just doing what, the same shit to me, not in a negative way, not in a derogatory way, but, and that's like, fuck, I want to talk to that fool too. I want to talk to that fool. Like, you know, like there's even
Vein,
some shit. Yeah.
Vein, I love that Arizona album is another like immaculate, like masterpiece of a metal record to me.
Yeah. Fucking Jesus Piece, fucking dude. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, I was listening to this shit 20, almost 30 years ago, you know, and now it's like kind of a resurgence in a way, but they're doing it their way, and fucking respect to that. Dude, Knock Loose is fucking so crazy, dude. They're so
one of the best.
I love
one of the best.
So all right, so next one you picked was Big Ghost. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, so it's Griselda the Ghost, but it's Griselda. Okay. It's Conway the Machine and West Side Gun, with Ghost Limited, I think, is the producer.
Yeah, it says Big Ghost Limited. I'm not familiar with this, so you're showing me some shit.
This shit goes hard.
Oh, let's go. Shit's called Revenga.
Revenga!
That's right.
Libertad! Revenga! For the free you fuck! Hey yo, this the Fashion Week murderer, facing the rap shimmy mash chain burglar, roll you in the Persian rug, victim of the ghetto. laying in the street. Broad day, fuck who outside, fuck whoever see. SE, let them hammers bang. AKs, bananas hang. Pull up on you, spraying at that corner where y'all stand and hang. Homie, you can't just approach me. Me and my brother brought the toughest to New York. Mason and Oakley. Snipe you through your mama window, paint the upholstery. I'm that nigga, okay? Listen closely. My homie upstate rocking a rosary. 15 for an attempt. Somehow the nigga he shot lived. The nigga went and snitched. That's how these fake niggas is moving. But it's greatness I'm pursuing with this gangster shit I'm spewing. Griselda Records, get out the way, nigga, we moving. We going to MTV Awards and taking niggas Cubans. I'm only rocking fashion rebel shit. My bitch a couture fashion level shit. I'm the shit.
That's that East Coast shit, man.
Yeah. Buffalo's finest.
You know what I'm saying? And that's it. It all came from there, man. The birth of hip hop was there. That's what's crazy. And it's like
I'm just surprised that now the best hip hop I've pretty much ever heard in my life is coming out of Buffalo. And that's a big flex that they always go on, is like, we're not even in the 5 boroughs. Right. Shit, because we're outside of the 5 boroughs.
Yeah.
But like the best hip hop is currently being made in Buffalo. From Buffalo.
Is there some shit? Do you? Because I don't listen to any hip hop right now. Like the only hip hop I really listen to, I just don't. I'll listen to beats and stuff, but not like to me, I haven't found anything really like that fucking hits me in the chest. Like Coast Contra is a group that I like right now, but they're just emulating the old school cats like Tribe and all that shit. But that's dope. I love that. They're paying respect, but there's just, and I'm into that real soulful, conscious like style. Like that's what I like. But beats are beats. Anyway, if it's sick, it's sick. Respect to anything. I love KRS-One. He's my all-time favorite MC, like forever, But it's weird that there's not much, or I'm just not finding it. I don't know. Are you familiar with anything?
For me, it comes in waves for me. I listen to Wu Tang for a while, then I got into metal. Sure. And then I was listening to G-Unit and Dipset for a while, and then I got into more metal. And then I was listening to Action Bronson and Mayhem Loren for a little while. Yeah. And then I got back, so I kind of go back and forth. And then during the pandemic, I kept hearing about West Side Gun and Conway the Machine and Griselda, and I just kept hearing the name. And then I hear that one of the dudes got shot in the face, and he raps out of the side of his mouth. And I was like, what the hell? And then I found them, and then they put out an album, and they put out another album, and they put out another album, and they put out another album, and they put out they just kept all through the pandemic, all after the pandemic, nothing stopped them, and everything they put out was good. I was like, there's no fucking way, because they don't change the style, they don't change the formula. It's just like the grimiest, filthiest, nastiest beats with the grimiest, filthiest, nastiest rhymes over and over and over and over again. And it doesn't fail for me. And it doesn't look like it fails for them, because the money that these dudes walk around with and post on their gram, the dudes got Mr. T, amount of change, just outlandish, and laughing at other rappers, you're broke, you're all broke, and you're terrible, and look, and I love the audacity and just the complete disrespect to those who suck, but completely respected by all of the legends. Like this crew, they team up with everybody, all the big names. And I know sometimes you just get paid for a feature to get paid for a feature, but this is all of these dudes. I feel like they all rep for each other.
It's that consistency, man, and it's like, if it ain't broke, then don't try and fix it.
I love it. Works, I've always loved it. Yeah.
What's your favorite Wu Tang album?
I mean, 36 Chambers. That was everything. It
Mine's
still is
Wu Tang
everything.
Forever.
Okay.
That's
the
my
double
shit.
album, right?
Yeah, dude. When that shit came out, woo! I was like,
it's got Triumph, right?
Yes. So many good tracks. And then there was like, oh, it's a double. Oh fuck! Like, but it's all bangers. You know, like that's my shit, dude. I still forever. So they called it, bro. They called it.
Here's an argument
Sure.
I get into with a friend of mine all the time.
Sure.
So you're out on the West Coast. So Soul Assassins. Do you have the Soul Assassins mixtapes?
No.
Or the two albums they put out, Soul Assassins 1 and Soul Assassins 2.
No.
Oh, me and my buddy always argue over which one's better, and he always says Soul Assassins 1, and I say no, you're incredibly wrong. It's Soul Assassins 2. Check out it's on YouTube. When you're done here, you should check out.
Well, that's the
Soul
thing
Assassins
is, I never got into hip hop crews out here too much. I got more into the DJs and the beat makers.
Well, Soul Assassins.
Was
it's DJ Muggs from Cypress Hill and Alchemist.
Right. Yeah, and I love Alchemist and I love DJ Muggs, but I never got into Cypress Hill. I'd seen them a million fucking times. But I got my particulars. I'm picky like that. And all my shit's always East Coast shit. I just like East Coast flavor, bro. You know, that's it. And in respect to them, but I'm just like, no, that's the real shit. Blasphemous. That's fine. But Wu Tang just taught me some shit. Like I said, I started with KRS One, and then Wu Tang was just like, what? And there's 9 of these fools? Oh shit. You know, like okay. Yeah. You know, like, but Wu Tang Forever is, to me, that's like unfadable. You can't fuck with that one. All right, so
36 Chambers for me, definitely.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Sanguisugabog.
Okay, there you go. Sanguisugabog. Skin cushion. Let's go. Where are these guys from?
Ohio, I think.
Are they new like pretty fresh? Or?
Within the last 5 or 6 years, I would say.
Okay.
Filthy
as fuck.
That snare is everything to me.
Brutal. I have so much respect for any drummer that could just blast. And it's like, you're playing how long of a set? 30 minutes? 45 minutes? Oh, fuck, bro. Like, I expect them to be like super yoked, but no, they're usually pretty skinny ass. Like, I don't know how they get away with that shit, bro.
The drummer of this band, he's skinny. He's a little skinny dude.
I'm telling you, that's usually the ones I was just like, okay, like, all right.
The singer's the buff one.
Oh, there you go. Cool. Well, respect to that, man. Nice. Well, brother, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
It was fucking sick. Great conversation. I knew it would just hit right, dude, and you know, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Where tell anybody who's listening, whatever the fuck, Sirius XM, Liquid Metal.
Sirius XM, Liquid
Life.
Metal, weekdays from 5 to 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm on all the socials at Shawn The Butcher, spell Shawn, SHAWN. Check out my podcast. It's a horror movie podcast. Pretty much horror movies. We get into sci-fi and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
In Madness Pod, at In Madness Pod on all the socials, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, or whatever. We also have a YouTube channel, In Madness Pod. That's heavily what I'm working on as well. But yeah, I'm on Liquid Metal every weekday. Do Into the Trivia Pit every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Call in. We do heavy metal trivia. It is a good time. And thank you for having me, Dr. I, my man. I appreciate you having me on.
If you call into the Trivia Pit, make sure you fucking know your shit, dude. Please. That's all they ask. So have some respect, please. Thank you. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate you, man. Until next time, much love and respect to anyone listening, anyone paying attention. This is your Blue Dreamer broadcast. Until next time, peace.